Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here, and with episode 5 of The Penguin, whew, this is basically just to get caught up on what everybody was doing episode, and as such, wowzer. We open up again, back on the night, the Maronis tried to assassinate Oz, and it is after he's gotten away, he's torching his car. And the rest of his crew shows up, and he's kind of talked him into coming over to his side. Now, turns out, not only did the Maronis try and get rid of Oz, they also learned of this new drug he was doing that he didn't see fit to cut them in on, and so they've taken the mushrooms. So he goes and he kidnaps their son, Mickey. And he visits them at Blackgate and says, "Hey, I got Mickey, you got my shrooms. Let's do a trade." Which Sal and his wife agree, although they don't trust the penguin and they've got certain things set up for this trade. Like the penguin's just going to walk into that. They always underestimate him. Anyway, while leaving the prison, he slips some money to a guard and then sees on the TV the news about the gas leak at the Falcones. Only survivors? Sophia and the little girl Gia, and Johnny Vitti, who is missing. Well, it turns out Sophia has him chained up in the family mausoleum, pantsless. It's rather cold in there, and she pours a bucket of water on him. And now she's going to wait for him to give her the information on a large cache of money that is untraceable, that her father had set aside for emergencies. After a while, he says if he gives her what she wants, she'll just kill him. But she needs him. She's not going to be able to take over the family operations on her own. She needs a guy to be sort of a figurehead. Kind of smooth things. And, well, okay. Meanwhile, before the meet, Oz pulls Vic aside and says, "Look, things are going down. You're the only one I can trust because you came back for me. I need you to get my mom and a bug out kit and go somewhere nobody's going to look for you." Well, Vic wants to be in on the trade because he's the one who actually tackled Mickey when he ran off and beat him into submission. So he's getting a little more comfortable with this thug lifestyle. But he goes and he does what Penguin asks, and he takes her to, what is the name of that area now? It's Crown Point, where he used to live, and they used to live. And he's sneaking her into an abandoned building, but it gets spotted by a drop dealer we met back in episode, I believe, 3 or 2? 3 or 2. Anyway, they get settled into this house. No one would really stay there. There's no electricity. The flood took care of that. Anyways, Oz and a Confederate to go to the exchange, and they show him the mushrooms, and he pushes Mickey towards them. Once Mickey's with his mother and she's hugging him, the hit squad comes out to take care of Oz because of the double crossing they've done, the Maronis. And in the midst of the shootout, it is here we learn that Oz isn't stupid. The reason Mickey was dripping wet was that he was covered in gasoline, and there's just a little trail right up to Oz, who drops his cigarette lighter in it and immolates both Mickey and his mother. Then they escape with the mushrooms, but when they get back to headquarters, he's going through. Most of the mushrooms are dead. They were taken out of the sustained environment where they were being grown, and except for 2 buckets that were sealed. Those are okay. The rest, useless. While this was going on, the guard Oswald paid goes in and shivs Sal Maroni. Now, after the Penguin thinks he's got away with everything, he gets a phone call from Sal Maroni. Sal was injured, but he killed the guard, took his clothes and keys, and walked out of Blackgate. Now he's holed up, and he wants to know that Penguin's not going to get away with trying to have him shivved. And Penguin says, better think about that. Oh, by the way, try calling your wife. Back to mansion. Sophia has had Johnny V call in all the lower echelon soldiers of the Falcone family. Most of the upper ones were all killed in the gas leak. You know, the accident. Anyways, she gives... Oh, before that, her psychiatrist Julian shows up and says he knows what she did. And he's very impressed. And he wants to be a part of this. Just to be near the seat of power. So, any suspicions you had about he's not altogether a good guy and is just doing this out of goodness of his heart? No, he wants peace. I think Sophia can deal with that. I think she's smarter than he is. Anyway, she calls me together and explains how they're going into a new era. They are no longer the Falcones. Her mother's maiden name was Giganti, and they're now going to be the beginning of the Giganti family. And as she's going on, Johnny interrupts her and says, now look, before we can get into this, there's things we got to do. You know, we've got this and this. And she just pulls out a gun and pop, right in the head. Seems all she really needed Johnny for was to call everyone together and to make an example of it. Then she shows them the money that came from the catch. Hundreds of thousands. She dumps it on the table in front of them. Her father was a cheapskate who kept them hungry, thinking that would make them more loyal. Well, she doesn't go along with that interpretation. They're going to share and share alike. Down payment right there. And they all scramble and take the money. Julian's very impressed with her. Meanwhile, Oz goes to see Eve. He says, we got to bug out for a while. We grab your stuff. We're going to go somewhere. And she's like, no. Oz, I can't do this. The girls depend on me. I got to protect them. You've gotten in something very deep. When it's over, we can talk. And he's upset. He starts trashing stuff. And then she calms him down. And he's smart enough to know she's right. She has to protect what she has. And they could come after her. But if she stays out, probably safer. So he heads to Crown Point and checks on his mother. And then going through the box of memorabilia she brought with her, old baseball gloves and things he and his brothers collected over the years when they were kids. As for his brothers, all Oz has ever said is the city took them, just like it takes everyone. He then takes the kid down to the old abandoned underground trolley system that the city closed down decades ago. And he takes him to where the trains are stored. And it's this big, very warm, very dark place. Perfect for growing mushrooms. And we end with Sophia tracking down the cabin in the woods that Maroni's holed up in. And she talks to him and says, you know, my father's gone. Most of the family is gone. I have a new family. We don't really have a beef with the Maronis, but we do have a mutual enemy. Oswald Cobb, the Penguin. Perhaps they should make an alliance to take care of this problem. Okay. Another good episode. There's a great scene with the Gotham chief of police where he starts to question Sophia, about the odd coincidence that only she and this girl were able to survive, and by being in the greenhouse, and she has a reputation and everything. She just kind of cuts him down the sides with, "Don't worry, there won't be a delay in the distribution of envelopes." Okay, message understood. Don't mess with Sophia or you ain't getting your kickbacks. All these characters are great. They're all smart. Nobody's really dumb. Nobody does dumb things, which I kind of like. It makes for more suspense. It's more hubris that gets anyone in trouble than lack of intelligence, like with Johnny Vitti. And I like how Sophia's just taking things over as her birthright. Really good episode. Looking forward to the last three, where we'll see just how this plays out. Hope you are too. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.